Hello everyone, this is Meenakshi Dilip Birari, working as a assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. In today's lecture, we will study about biofertilizers, different types of biofertilizers and their advantages. In previous lectures, we have studied about different types of fertilizers and manures. Chemical fertilizers are toxic and they pollute the water and disturb the ecological balance. But as compared to chemical fertilizers, biofertilizers are non-toxic. They provide more nitrogen and ensure ecological stability to the soil. So let's see what are biofertilizers and how these are advantageous as compared to chemical fertilizers. A biofertilizer is a substance which contains living microorganisms when applied to seed, plant surfaces or soil, colonizes the rhizosphere or the interior of the plant and promotes growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients, that is NPK, to the host plant. Biofertilizers add nutrients through the natural processes of nitrogen fixation, solubilizing phosphorus and stimulating plant growth through the synthesis of growth promoting substances. So how we can define biofertilizer? Biofertilizer, it is a substance that contains living microorganisms when applied to seeds, plants or soil, promotes growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients to the host plant. What is biofertilizer? Biofertilizers are natural fertilizers that are microbial inoculants of bacteria, algae and fungi that may be separately or may be in combination, which may help biological nitrogen fixation for the benefit of plants. They help build up the soil microflora and thereby the soil health. Biofertilizer also include organic fertilizers that may be manures. Use of biofertilizer is recommended for improving soil fertility in organic farming. As compared to chemical fertilizers, biofertilizers are non-toxic, they are comparatively cheaper and ensure more ecological stability to the soil. What is need of biofertilizer? Biofertilizers are important for the applications of mineral fertilizers, especially nitrogen, which can result in groundwater contamination by nitrates leaching through the soil profile. Also, denitrification of applied nitrogen fertilizer can give rise to gaseous nitrogenous compound that volatilize from the soil into the atmosphere and contribute to the greenhouse effect and or the alteration of the ozone layer. Non-availability of added synthetic nutrients and biofertilizers, these are cheaper and having sustainable supplementary source of nutrients as compared to other fertilizers. Biofertilizers are comparatively cheaper and a concrete tank is sufficient for its production. They have capacity to hold water. Also, biofertilizers having low cost as compared to other fertilizers. Depending on their nature and function, biofertilizers are grouped as follows. So that is the classification of biofertilizer. First one, nitrogen fixing biofertilizers. They are grouped in three: free living, symbiotic, associative, symbiotic. Examples, these are azobacter, rhizobium, azospirillum, like that. Second one, that is phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizers. These are grouped into two: bacteria and fungi. Examples, these are Bacillus phosphaticum, penicillium species, like that. Next one, phosphorus mobilizing biofertilizers. These are grouped into arbuscular mycorrhiza. Ectomycorrhiza, Orchid mycorrhiza. Examples, these are Glomus species, Gigaspora, Acauluspora species, like that. Next, fourth one, biofertilizers for micronutrients. These are grouped into silicate and zinc solubilizers. Example, these are Bacillus species. Plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. These are grouped into Pseudomonas. And the examples, these are Pseudomonas fluorescens. So depending on their nature and function, biofertilizers are grouped into 5. These are nitrogen fixing biofertilizers, phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizers, phosphorus mobilizing biofertilizers, biofertilizers for micronutrients, and plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. Biofertilizers are mainly classified into bacterial, fungal, algal, aquatic form, and also earthworms. Bacteria, that may be symbiotic nitrogen fixers. Examples, Rhizobium, Azospirillum species. Then free living nitrogen fixers, that includes Azobacter. Algal biofertilizers, these are BGA in association with Azolla. Then Anabina, Nostoc, etc. Phosphate solubilizing bacteria, that are Pseudomonas, Bacillus megaterium. Fungal biofertilizer, that may be VAM, and also earthworms. Let's see different types of biofertilizers and their role. Rhizobium. Rhizobium, it belongs to bacterial group, and the classical example is symbiotic nitrogen fixation. It grows on root of leguminous plant. It produces protein, vitamin, and nitrogen containing compound. Rhizobium infect the legume root and form root nodules, within which they reduce molecular nitrogen to ammonia, which is readily utilized by the plant to produce available proteins, vitamins, and nitrogen containing compounds. Second one, that is Azotobacter. It belongs to bacterial group. It is free living aerobic nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is used as a biofertilizer for non-leguminous plant. For example, like cotton, rice, vegetables, etc. So Azotobacter, it is the important and well-known free living nitrogen fixing aerobic bacterium. It is also used as a biofertilizer for all non-leguminous plants, especially for rice, cotton, vegetables, etc. The next one, that is Azospirillum. It belongs to bacteria and is known to fix the considerable quantity of nitrogen in the range of 20 to 40 kg per hectare in the rhizosphere in non-leguminous plants. It is also used for non-leguminous plant. For examples, cereals, cotton, oilseeds, etc. It stimulates growth and imparts green color, which is characteristics of a healthy plant. The next one, that is Azolla. It is a free floating water fern that floats in water and fixes atmospheric nitrogen in association with nitrogen fixing blue-green algae. It is used as a biofertilizer, especially for rice. Azolla, it is considered to be a potential biofertilizer in terms of nitrogen contribution to rice. It is a free floating water fern that floats in water. Then another one, that is Acetobacter. It is a saccharophilic bacteria and associated with sugarcane, sweet potato and sweet sorghum plants, and fixes 30 kg nitrogen per hectare per year. It is commercialized for sugarcane crop. It is known to increase yield by 10 to 20 acre per acre and sugar by about 10 to 15%. So Acetobacter, it is a saccharophilic bacteria. Symbiotic nitrogen fixers. These are nitrogen fixing bacteria that may be Rhizobium and Azospirillum. Rhizobium lives in the root hairs of the legumes by forming nodules. Plant roots supply essential minerals and newly synthesized substance to the bacteria. The name Rhizobium was established by Frank in 1889. This genus has 7 distinct species based on cross-inoculation group concept. So these are nothing but the nitrogen fixing bacteria, Rhizobium and Azospirillum, symbiotic nitrogen fixers. The name Rhizobium was established by Frank in 1889. Rhizobia are special bacteria that can live in the soil or in nodules formed on the roots of legumes. In root nodules, they form a symbiotic association with the legume, obtaining nutrients from the plant and producing nitrogen in a process called biological nitrogen fixation or BNF. The rhizobia are broadly classified as fast or slow growing based on their growth on laboratory media. Example, Bradyrhizobium. So Rhizobium, it belongs to a bacteria group and the classical example is symbiotic nitrogen fixation. It infects the legume root and form root nodules within which they reduce molecular nitrogen to ammonia, which is readily utilized by the plant to produce available proteins, vitamins and other nitrogen containing compounds. Then another, these are nothing but free living bacteria. Large number of free living or non-symbiotic bacteria does not form nodules but makes association by living in the rhizosphere that are also present in soil. Commonly used free living bacteria are Azotobacter, also Klebsiella. It will not associated with plant. Azobacter is a biofertilizer which provides the required amount of nitrogen to the plant from the soil. So commonly used free living bacteria are Azotobacter and Klebsiella, which are not associated with the plant. Azotobacter. Azotobacter is a heterotrophic free living nitrogen fixing bacteria present in alkaline and neutral soils. Apart from its availability to fix atmospheric nitrogen in soils, it can also synthesize growth promoting substances such as auxins and gibberellins and also to some extent the vitamins. We know that biofertilizers add nutrients through the natural processes of fixing atmospheric nitrogen, solubilizing phosphorus and stimulating plant growth through the synthesis and stimulating substances. So apart from its ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen in soils, it can also synthesize growth promoting substances such as auxins and also gibberellins. Many strains of Azotobacter also exhibit fungicidal properties against certain species of fungus. Response of Azotobacter has been seen in rice, maize, cotton, sugarcane, vegetable and some plantation crops. It improves seed germination and also plant growth. Azotobacter is heaviest breathing organisms and requires a large amount of organic carbon for its growth. So we should remember Azotobacter, it is a heterotrophic free living nitrogen fixing bacteria that are present in alkaline and in neutral soils. Azotobacter is a free living nitrogen fixing bacterium which is used as a biofertilizer in the cultivation of most crops. Azotobacter species are gram-negative aerobic soil-dwelling bacteria. They are typically polymorphic, that is of different sizes and different shapes. So these are called polymorphic. Their size of the cells ranges from 2 to 10 micrometer long and 1 to 2 micrometer wide. So what should be the size of Azotobacter cells? And these are also known as a polymorphic, typically polymorphic because they have different sizes and different shapes. Azotobacter species are gram-negative aerobic soil-dwelling bacteria. Application of Azotobacter. A plant needs nitrogen for its growth and Azotobacter fixes atmospheric nitrogen non-symbiotically. Therefore, all plants, trees, vegetables get benefited. Azotobacter also increases germination of seeds by 20 to 30%. It is applied in set inoculation at 8 to 10 packets per 10 kg soil. Then another biofertilizer, different type, that is Azospirillum. It mainly present in cereal plants, inhabits both root cells as well as surrounding of roots, forming symbiotic relation and increasing nitrogen fixing potential of the cereal plant. Azospirillum is recognized as a dominant soil microbe. Nitrogen in the range of 20 to 40 kg per hectare in the rhizosphere in non-leguminous plants such as cereals, millets, oilseeds, cotton, etc. Considerable quantity of nitrogen fertilizer up to 25 to 30% can be saved by the use of Azospirillum inoculant. These species have been commercially exploited for the use as a nitrogen supplying biofertilizers. So Azospirillum, it belongs to bacteria and it is known to fix the considerable quantity of nitrogen in the range of 20 to 40 kg per hectare in the rhizosphere in non-leguminous plants such as in cereals, cotton, oilseeds, etc. Azospirillum is a gram-negative motile bacteria associated with roots of monocots. Several strains of Azospirillum were shown to exert beneficial effects on plant growth and crop yields under various soil and climatic conditions and are thus qualified as plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. So these are called PGPR, plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. Azospirillum used for vegetable crops through the seed treatment, pesting of eyebirds, etc. Azospirillum, these are gram-negative motile bacteria which are associated with roots of monocots. Several strains of Azospirillum were shown to exert beneficial effect on plant growth and also on the crop yields. Now the another type of biofertilizer, that is Azolla. Azolla is a tiny freshwater fern common in ponds, ditches and rice fields. It has been used as a biofertilizer for a rice in all major rice growing countries including India, Thailand, Korea, Philippines, Brazil and West Africa. The nitrogen fixing work is accomplished by the symbiotic relationship between the fern and BGA, Anabaena azuli, blue-green algae. These are Anabaena azuli. In addition to nitrogen, the decomposed Azolla also provides potassium, phosphorus, zinc and iron to the crop. Azolla biomass gets doubled within 5 to 7 days by vegetative methods. Also it fixes 40 to 80 kg nitrogen per hectare per year. Azolite is a good manure for flooded rice. It also increase of crop yield up to 15 to 20%. It has been observed while fertilizing the rice with azolla. Hybrids are growing faster, tolerant to heat and also to the cold. It also fixes 4 to 5% more nitrogen. So azolla is a tiny freshwater fern common in ponds. The nitrogen fixing work is accomplished by the symbiotic relationship between the fern and blue-green algae, especially Anabaena azuli. It also provides potassium, phosphorus, zinc and also iron to the crop. It is a good manure for flooded rice. So it has been used as a biofertilizer for a rice in all major rice growing countries. Azolla floats on the surface of water by means of numerous small closely overlapping scale-like leaves with their roots hanging in the water. So we can observe here in this image. So azolla that floats on the surface of water by means of numerous small closely overlapping scale-like leaves with their roots hanging in the water. They form a symbiotic relationship with the cyanobacterium Anabaena azuli, which fixes atmospheric nitrogen, giving the plants to access the essential nutrients. Azolite is a free-floating water fern that floats in water and fixes atmospheric nitrogen in association with nitrogen-fixing blue-green algae Anabaena azuli, and it is considered to be a potential biofertilizer in terms of nitrogen contribution to rice. Now the another type of biofertilizer, that is Acetobacter. Acetobacter, it is an endotropic microorganism capable of living inside the plant tissues. It can live in high sugar levels that exist in sugarcane tissues. It is a symbiotic bacteria capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen by living within the sugar plant. Use of Acetobacter increases the crop production in large scale. Acetobacter, it is a saccharophilic bacteria and associated with sugarcane, sweet potato and sweet sorghum plants, and it fixes 30 kg nitrogen per hectare per year. Acetobacter, it is commercialized for sugarcane crop. It is known to increase yield by 10 to 20% per acre and sugar by about 10 to 15%. Then phosphate solubilizing bacteria, PSB. These are the microorganisms which solubilize fixed phosphorus in soil and make available to plants. Phosphate solubilizing biofertilizers are prepared from phosphate solubilizing bacteria, that are PSB, or fungi, that are PSF. Phosphate solubilizing bacteria or phosphate solubilizing fungi. Phosphate solubilizers include Pseudomonas striata, Bacillus polymyxa, etc. Fungal isolates, it includes Aspergillus niger, Penicillium digitatum, etc. So, phosphate solubilizing bacteria, these are nothing but the microorganisms which solubilize fixed phosphorus in soil and make available to plants. Now we have studied the different types of biofertilizer and their role. Now let's see the application of biofertilizer to crops. Biofertilizers are important for three applications. These are seedling root dip, seed treatment and soil treatment. So first one, seedling root dip. This method is applied to rice crop. Seedling of rice are kept for 8 to 10 hours before planting. In this method, a bed of water is spread on the land where the crop has to grow. the seedlings of rice are planted in the water and are kept there for 8 to 10 hours before planting. Now the second one, that is seed treatment. In this method, the nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers are mixed together in the water. Then seeds are dipped in this mixture. After the application of these plants, after the application of this paste to the seeds, seeds are dried. After they dry out, they have to be sown as soon as possible before they get damaged by harmful microorganisms. So in this type, seeds are dipped in the mixture of biofertilizer, and after the application seeds are dried. After they dry, they have been sown as soon as possible. The another application, that is soil treatment. All the biofertilizers along with the compost fertilizers are mixed together. They are kept for one night. Then the next day this mixture is spread on the soil where seeds have to be sown. So biofertilizer application methods, these are three: seed treatment, root dipping and soil applications. So that uses the nitrogen fixing or phosphorus solubilizing bacteria. Seed treatment. In this method, nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers are mixed together in the water. So it is the most common method adapted for all types of inoculant. The seed treatment is effective and it is economic. Seed treatment, it is carried out with Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Azospirillum along with PSM. Seed treatment can be done with any of two or more bacteria, and this method having no side effect. It is also important thing that the seeds must be coated first with Rhizobium or Azotobacter or Azospirillum. When each seeds get a layer of above bacteria, then the PSM inoculant has to be treated on outer layer of the seeds. This method will provide maximum number of population of each bacteria required for better results. Mixing the any of two bacteria and the treatment of seed will not provide maximum number of bacteria of individuals. So this method includes dipping of the seeds in the mixture. After the application of this paste to the seeds, seeds are dried. After they dry out, they have to be sown as soon as possible before they get damaged by harmful microorganisms. Now the second one, that is root dipping. Application of Azospirillum with the paddy or vegetable plants. This method is needed. The required quantity of Azospirillum has to be mixed with 5 to 10 liter of water at one corner of the field, and all the plants have to kept for minimum half an hour before sowing. Then another application, that is soil application. PSM has to be used as a soil application. Use 2 kg of PSM per acre. Mix PSM with 400 to 600 kilograms of cow dung along with half bag of rock phosphate if available. The mixture of PSM, cow dung and rock phosphate have to be kept under any tree shade or ceiling for overnight and maintain 50% moisture. Use the mixture as a soil application in rows or during leveling of soil. All the biofertilizers along with the compost fertilizers are mixed together. They are kept for one night. Then the next day this mixture is spread on the soil where seeds have to be sown. Now what are the precautions while using biofertilizers? First of all, that is storage. Store biofertilizers in cool place at room temperature. Biofertilizer should not contact with insecticide, pesticide, chemical fertilizer during storage and application. Biofertilizer should be used before expiry date. Storage and use of biofertilizer should be avoided in direct sunlight. Specific inoculant is used for specific crop. So these are the important things while using biofertilizers. What are the advantages of biofertilizers? Biofertilizers having longer shelf life, that is about 12 to 24 months. No contamination, no loss of properties due to storage up to 45 degrees Celsius. Greater potential to fight with native population. Easy identification by typical fermented smell. Better survival by typical fermented. Very much easy to use by the farmer. So these are the important advantages of biofertilizers. Biofertilizers still not popular due to different reasons. So these are lack of proper education to the farmers, lack of proper marketing and distribution channels, lack of quality of guarantee products. Due to these things, biofertilizers still not popular. But it seems that day is not far off when biofertilizers will replace chemical fertilizers for an era of prosperity and clean environment. So what are the advantages of biofertilizers? It fixes various nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur and various micronutrients in soil. So mainly that provides primary nutrients NPK and also micronutrients, various micronutrients. Biofertilizers maintains soil health. It is pollution free input. It secretes hormones and growth regulator, helps in higher crop production. It has low cost, hence affordable to any class of farmer. It helps quick decomposition of organic matter. It reduces crop disease due to secretion of antibiotics and it is easy to apply. So these are important advantages of biofertilizers. We can summarize these biofertilizers or the advantages of biofertilizers in this image. So biofertilizers supply the mixture of nutrients, maintains symbiotic relationship, maintain microbial consortia in soil, enhance crop production. It also suppress soil-borne pathogenic diseases in crops. It also improves soil health. So these are the important advantages of biofertilizers. So biofertilizer help in increasing crop productivity. Biofertilizer replace 25 to 30% of chemical fertilizers. Biofertilizers can be applied through seed treatment, seedling inoculation, set inoculation, seed pelleting. Carrier-based biofertilizer commercialized on large scale. So it seems that day is not far off when biofertilizers will replace chemical fertilizers for an era of prosperity and clean environment. We have studied about biofertilizers and different types of biofertilizers. Now let's see the comparison between chemical fertilizers and biofertilizers. So difference between biofertilizers and chemical fertilizers. Biofertilizers are non-toxic, provide more nitrogen and ensure ecological stability to the soil, whereas chemical fertilizers are toxic and pollute the water and disturb the ecological balance. Biofertilizers are comparatively cheaper, but chemical fertilizers are more costly and even increasing prices of petroleum products. Biofertilizers being priced low within the reach of the poor farmers also, but chemical fertilizers low purchasing power of small farmers. Biofertilizers, for that a concrete tank is sufficient for its production, but chemical fertilizers it production require the setting of the big plants involving huge investment. Biofertilizers have capacity to hold water and chemical fertilizers do not hold water. So examples for biofertilizers, these are nothing but blue-green algae. So these are few distinguishing points between biofertilizers and chemical fertilizers. So biofertilizers are non-toxic as compared to chemical fertilizers, and these are comparatively cheaper. Also they ensure ecological stability to the soil, whereas chemical fertilizers disturb the ecological balance. In today's lecture, we have studied about biofertilizers, different types of biofertilizers and also their advantages. Thank you.